I walked in on my wife with two men. She said one wasn't enough anymore. Hey everyone, thanks for being here. If this story hits home or makes you think, a like and a comment go a long way in keeping the channel alive. I truly appreciate it. My name is Gavin Rhodes. I'm 35 years old. And for most of the past decade, I believed I was living a life worth envying. Married to a woman I adored. A beautiful daughter who lights up any room. Decent career. It looked like the kind of life people frame in their hallway or print in glossy Christmas cards. At least that's what I thought. I work as a merchant marine engineer. Long stints out at sea, then a few weeks back home. It's not for everyone, but it paid the bills and kept a roof over our heads. My wife, Jenna, had always said she admired the way I worked hard. 3 months away, 6 weeks home. She used to call it our rhythm, and I clung to that word for a long time. This all unraveled one spring evening, when my ship docked back in Charleston 3 days ahead of schedule. I didn't text Jenna. I thought I'd surprise her. Walk through the door with a smile, a suitcase full of duty-free chocolate, and my best friend Wes Carter in tow. Wes and I go way back. Same academy, same sarcasm, same endless appetite for wings and whiskey. By chance he was on shore leave too. We figured we'd relive our younger days. Share a bottle, tell sea stories, and then drop in unannounced on Jenna, who always called Wes her favorite bad influence. We started the night at a familiar bar by the docks. Wings, bourbon, laughter. We were joined by a few other sailors, old crew from a 17 run to the Philippines. The kind of loud, animated table where you toast to ports you've half forgotten and scars you barely remember getting. That's when Marty, a diesel tech I hadn't seen in years, leaned back and casually said, "Hey Gavin. Random, but I'm pretty sure I saw your wife the other night. Over near Harbor Crossing. She was with 2 guys. Looked real cozy. They headed into that lounge next to the bait shop. One of them had his hand on her back. Not in a friendly way either." The whole table fell silent. I felt the burn creep up my neck faster than the whiskey ever could. I thought he was messing with me. Some sailor's version of a bad joke. Because everyone knew Jenna spent her evenings helping our daughter with homework or baking banana bread for the PTA. That's who she was. That's who she told me she was. But I snapped. I hauled Marty out of his seat and laid a right hook across his jaw before Wes could blink. The bar went dead. Marty hit the floor bleeding, groaning, stunned. Wes pulled me off him, whispering, "Easy, man. Let him talk." To his credit, Marty apologized. Said maybe he'd misread it. Bought a round of shots to smooth things over. But the night had lost its magic. I was in a fog. Numb, uneasy, sweating despite the cold air. Wes and I paid out and started walking back to my apartment building. I'd picked up Jenna's favorite tulips from a 24-hour flower stand. Wes carried a box of those ridiculous sea salt caramels she liked. Halfway up the stairwell we heard it. Rhythmic. Intimate. We elbowed each other, chuckling. Guess the neighbors having a good night. Except the sounds got louder when I unlocked my door. And then came the voice. Her voice. Hit me like a gut punch. Kicked the door open. There, in the middle of my living room, the sofa cushions on the floor, clothes scattered like roadkill, was Jenna. And 2 men I'd never seen in my life. Every detail was burned into my brain. Their gym-cut bodies. Her red cheeks. Her legs tangled with theirs like it was a damn performance. One guy's hand still cupped her breast as he turned and locked terrified eyes with me. Time didn't just stop. It disintegrated. Wes muttered, "Oh hell." Then instinct took over. We didn't speak. We didn't yell. We charged. One guy caught a hook to the ribs. The other tripped over his own pants trying to run. We dragged them out into the hallway. Naked, bleeding, flailing. Jenna screamed, "Gavin, stop!" But I couldn't even hear her. The rage had swallowed every word. We kicked the 2 bastards down 3 flights of stairs, then Wes, calm and collected, tossed their clothes after them like trash bags. Back inside, the silence was unbearable. The tulips I brought. Smashed across the carpet. Stems broken like promises. Jenna knelt near the couch, covering herself with a pillow, sobbing. I stood there, watching the woman I had trusted with everything tremble like a stranger. I didn't even know what to say. Finally, I whispered, "Why?" Through tears, hiccups, and shaking lips, she said the words that fractured every bone in my chest. "One man isn't enough anymore. You need more. Sometimes two. Sometimes three." I didn't plan this. I tried to stop. But it's who I am now. She admitted she'd met like-minded women on a Telegram group. Moms bored with domestic life. They called it reclaiming your fire. She said it made her feel alive. While I was battling sea storms and wrenching engines apart in the Indian Ocean, she was discovering group hookups at motels 20 minutes from home. She cried, begged me not to divorce her, swore she still loved me, but also told me point blank she wouldn't stop. At some point, Wes stepped out for a smoke. When I joined him, he didn't say much, just offered me a couch, a place to clear my head, and a reason not to do something that would put me behind bars. I grabbed a clean shirt, stuffed my sea bag, and left. Jenna slipped on the tulip petals trying to follow me, calling my name down the stairwell. I never looked back. The next morning, hungover and hollow, Wes and I watched the sun crawl through the blinds while we killed a bottle of cheap bourbon. That day I filed for divorce. I sent Jenna a calm, cold text with the days I'd be picking up my things. I explained to my daughter carefully that sometimes parents just need different things, but nothing would change how much we both loved her. Then I signed a contract. 4 months at sea. Singapore. Dubai. Rotterdam. Anything to drown the pain in diesel fumes and engine hums. I'll confess this too. At the first port I paid for company. Didn't even feel guilty. Just numb. And somehow that was better. When I came back stateside, I rented a small place near the shipyard. Kept my head down. Wes checked on me constantly. Dragged me to bar trivia, wouldn't let me wallow. Couple months later, he introduced me to someone. April. A paramedic with freckles and a laugh that felt like fresh air. I warned her I was a wreck. She smiled and said, "I've patched up worse." We started seeing each other. Slowly. Carefully. She doesn't mind that I still flinch when I hear a door slam. I don't mind her 3 a.m. pager buzz. We're building something that feels real. Now here's the kicker. Weddings cost money. And my best-paying work is still offshore. So I took one final 3-month contract. Just enough to build a future. Before I left, I asked Wes to check in on April. Not because I don't trust her, but because I know how loneliness stalks people. Do I worry it could happen again? But I've learned something. You can't chain people to vows. You can only show up again and again. This December, when I disembark, I'm hanging up my badge. No more contracts. No more ocean miles. Just a shore-based job, a shot at peace. And someone who makes even the worst days worth showing up for. If you made it this far, thanks for listening. Drop a comment. Would you have walked out like I did, or tried to fix something that was already drowning? Smash that like button if you believe that some betrayals can't be forgiven. And subscribe for more real-life storm stories, right here on the channel. Until next time, keep your knots tight, your circle tighter. And never ignore the storm warnings.